Hey guys, welcome to the Broken Masterpiece. A lot of you guys see the behind the scenes of working on furniture and the ins and outs of what I do, but you don't see a lot of me. And so today I get to take you on a tour of my garage workspace because not a lot of people show where they work and how they organize it. And so I'm hoping this can help you if you're thinking about starting a furniture finishing business. I started mine at home. There's a reason why I started it from home. I have 3 kids, I've got 2 dogs, I'm a pastor's wife, and I wanted to be able to stay at home with my kids, but also have something of my own. And so the garage workspace for us includes so many tax benefits for our family, but also gives me an outlet and a creative space where I get to work. And so I've made it possible with a few tweaks in my garage, and I get to show you those today of how we have family and work all together. So join me on this tour. So excited to take you guys. Let's go. I'm gonna walk you through my house just so that you can know that I don't have everything all together. I don't have a perfectly ordered home with perfectly ordered children, although that one's cooking breakfast right now, and he's cooking some cinnamon rolls over there. He's 10 years old. I said get those started, and my little miss is over here reading, as usual, in her PJs in the morning. So I'm gonna walk through my house. This is vulnerable. We've got craft projects from the other day. I've got laundry that hasn't been put away. I've got more laundry over there that hasn't been put away. It's just the life of a mom. So not everything is clean, and we've got a this way. This is where I do a lot of my content stuff. And so as you can see behind me, the table's kind of a mess, but that's where my husband's been working for the last few weeks while I've been recuperating from back surgery. We are probably transitioning that room to a full-blown home office. We're gonna get really beautiful wood doors. We're gonna probably build built-ins this summer. So that's gonna be a really fun project for you to witness as we are new DIYers. I do a lot of furniture finishing, but not a ton of building. And so I can't wait to show you that. This is my other little one right here. Say hi. Okay, he's fine. All right, so through my very tight laundry room, we go out to the garage. And in my garage workspace, after I had my back injury in January, I tried to rehab it, work a little bit. I had a cortisone shot, and so I basically had a herniated disc. We knew that I had to figure out how to have a smarter workspace. And so we redid the floors, we redid the organization. I did a few tweaks on my furniture space where I spray, and I got a hydraulic lift. And so I have recently had back surgery. It's a laminectomy to repair that disc, and I'm hoping that when I get back to the fall and get to start refinishing furniture again, that I will have a much smarter flow where I'm not bending and lifting anymore at all. I'm gonna flip this camera around so that you can see. This is where I keep all my receipts. So anything, I do reorganize these every once in a while, but when I get home from shopping, I really just want to get to work. And so I come over here and I just shove it in there. And so if you have any other tips for how to organize receipts, that's what I do. And then I put them in envelopes. And so I have them pretty much sorted out when tax time comes. This is a new reorganized. I used to have my drills and everything everywhere and batteries everywhere. And so I got these on Amazon. I'll link it in the description. But basically it's just 2 side-by-side shelves. They were really easy for me to install. They hold my jig, they hold my drills, they hold my drill press, they hold my pneumatic stapler, my sanders. There's my DeWalt sander. I've got my orbital. I've got a soldering iron up there. They've got all the drill bits, something for our sprinkler system. So anything that I need for that system is all encased there, and it's off my shelves, which is good. This is my Stanley. This is my miter saw. So this is a DeWalt miter saw. It works great. I can cut a whole ton of angles on it. We've built a bed frame, we've built a dining room table, and we've built our patio set with this thing. So it's fantastic. My other woodworking tools are actually at my dad's workshop. So sometimes I'll give you a tour of that. I've got a planer over there, a table saw, and a couple other things because he's more of the builder than I am. These are screws that are ready to get sorted out. I hate that job. I can't stand it. So my husband's gonna help me with that. I got this for free, and he has helped organize it and get all my different types of screws, different types of washers, because this is what I do with them. I get a ton left over from furniture pulls, and I hate throwing stuff away, but at the same time, it needs to happen. But these come in handy because I do have a lot of pulls, so This is my husband's tool case, also mine when I need it, but he keeps a lot of his stuff in here. So anything that I need, wrenches and whatnot, I can get out of there. Here's where I store all of my sandpaper. So I'm gonna pull it out for you. I've got steel wool in here, all sorts of grits. It usually goes from 80 grit. Yep, that's 80 grit, and it goes all the way to like my 1,000 grits, 800 grits. And so I try and keep it organized in this. This is the best I can do. And this is my sanding system. I'll link it in the description. This has a bunch of ins and outs to be able to go around corners and edges and grooves of tables and dressers. And so this thing is fantastic. It comes with a ton of sandpaper. It is literally the best deal on Amazon. I'll link it. So this is where I keep all my sandpaper. This is my new Wagner Flexio 5000. It's fantastic. It comes with this carry case and everything. It is so awesome. And when I need it, I can get it out, plug it in, but then I can clean it and store it and put it away. So that's what I love about it. We just installed this little shoe shelf because we have been parking in the garage this summer. So we're coming in from the pool. Shoes are wet and they're muddy. That's awesome. And so when I said the shoes are getting everywhere all over the floor, and I don't like things on the floor because when I need to blow out my garage, it's just a lot easier. And so we've just literally put 2x4s, and then he got some plywood cut at Home Depot, and we put a little shoe shelf. So I love it. It's my new little organization. I put a couple hangers underneath this bench because I had all this empty space under here, and so I'm able to hang. This is my old Wagner gun. It's great. It's such a newbie gun. I'll link it. It's usually like 85 bucks on Amazon, and it's just like, it's a power horse, and it really works with primers, paints, mineral paints, all that jazz. So as you can see, we have this on huge wheels because they hold a ton of weight. And so when we need to, we can unlock 2 of those wheels and pull it all the way out to the front or the driveway. And that's when I don't like cutting in my garage because sawdust goes everywhere, but it helps when we need to move stuff around and actually use it as a workbench. So it can move, it can be put in a different way. It's awesome. You know you have a lot of stuff when you are a family of 5. I'm sure a lot of you guys it's worse than this. But here is where I started working smarter because our stuff was all over this, and when I work in here, everything gets dusty. So I needed to put it in bins so that we could stop with like how dirty it was. This still needs to be organized, obviously. We've got our cooler up there for the beach. I put this with a whole bunch of other tools in here. So these $7.99 bins at Costco do have a weight limit. I didn't realize that. And it was way too heavy. So we had to pull my saw out of there, chainsaw. This is my lighting kit. I got this from Joe Jax, and he is awesome and allowed me to purchase it at a great price. But it's a huge lighting kit that has like the best natural light you can do. So if I needed to do something inside, or if it was raining and dark out here, I could still get great natural light. This is the car stuff that we use: home, caulking, lawn, and cars. So that is how we organize all of our home stuff. Now this is my shelf. I've got my fine paints of Europe undercoats. I've got some paints. So these are my big cans of paints. I have got my Kills primer back here. It's a really good clear bonding primer. I've got another, like quite a few house paints back there. I usually use them to put under furniture. So yeah, do you guys keep around house paints? Let me know in the comments. This right here is my double duty. It goes with this gun right here. That's the double duty control sprayer by Wagner, and it's awesome. It's such a powerhouse, and I go through multiple of these because they do get hard to clean over some time. But this is plastic, and so yes, it's an $85 gun, but like it does wear out. So as much as I use it and just wreck this thing with how much I put in it, it doesn't last as long as my nicer gun, which I'll show you. Oh, for those that have seen my staging, this is my staging vinyl, the 10x10 that I got on Amazon. This thing is 6 years old and it still works great. I do need to press it when I get it out of here, or just like steam it to get some of these wrinkles out. But this is where I can store it. It's so nice. And so these are stuff that I store furniture on. There's some more over there as well. Just blankets and drop cloths that I can use when I need to. I forgot to show you this. Did anyone have purchases during COVID that they're like, why did we get that? There's a gold rush kit, you guys. We can take it down to the creek down in our walking trails and we can go pan for gold. and I can't get rid of it because it was like $100 and we bought it on Amazon during COVID because it was just one of those COVID purchases. So please drop a comment below. What was your COVID purchase that you were like, oh my gosh. We're coming over to what I call the chaos wall. I really need wall control to partner with me to fix this, but this is my reality. This is how I keep it organized right now. So someone did not put that away. But I have all our my woodworking tools. I've got a ton of my clamps over here. Anything I need, I know where it is on the wall. So if this looks chaotic to you, well, sometimes our workspaces are just a little chaotic. I do have my paints organized right now, but this is not always the case. I've got more of my house paints over here, blends of paints that I just have a little bit too, and then I blend them to make my own fun colors. These are my lacquer paints. I've moved more into lacquer lately, and I love it because you don't have to have a top coat. I love General Finishes, been working with them since day one. These are my acrylic paints that I use for acrylic pours. I've got lots more inside, but I keep those inside. My butane torch for when I do my acrylic pours. If you missed that video, you need to go check it out. It's so fun to watch the acrylic pour stuff. I've got chalk paint, Bear makes some, and you know what? As much as this is like $43, this is $19 still, or $20 from Home Depot. And so if you need a chalk paint that's really good quality, it's got a matte finish, so you do need to seal it with something, even if it's matte. It's way cheaper than Annie Sloan, and it's really good quality. So I do love that. Here's my Dixie Belle and my Lily Moon paints. They're very similar. Well, Dixie Belle's more like Annie Sloan. It's more mineral. Lily Moon, gosh, I love their paints and their stains. So they are a huge, I would love to buy their entire line. So if you need a code for Lily Moon, you can get 10% off. I'll link that below. Here's all my furniture waxes. Here's the paper that I line a lot of the drawers with, or things that I need to cover up, like mirrors. Here's all my wood fillers. I've tried a whole bunch just to see which ones work well. My favorite is Bondo wood filler. It's toxic. You definitely got to wear a respirator, but it's like out-of-body filler. It's fantastic. Here's a lot of my sealers and my primers and glazes. So these are more of like your finishing products that you use towards the end. Then you move into all of my stains. So down here, I've started to organize there's my huge roll of 6mm plastic. We'll get to that in a minute. This is my spray suit when I really need it. I've got a lot of just paint supplies back here, furniture pads, tape, different products that I use, drawer liners, drawer hooks. I've got foam brushes. So this is just my catch-all for like furniture dollies and fishing line and little cans that I can put my leftover paint in. I've got more gloves. I've got my sanding pads from Surf Prep. I do need to reorder those. So Surf Prep, I will be contacting you. My tack cloths, those you guys cannot paint furniture without those. They're fantastic. And then just a bunch of tools that we use for nails and different projects. So this is the wall that is my family stuff. So I did have to put one of the kids' bikes back. They are not great at that. We keep their hockey stuff there, a lot of the stuff for the yard, ladders I put up high because I hate stuff on the ground. We keep a lot of our chairs, our hammocks, our woodworking tools, all that stuff. I try and keep the kids' balls and just yard equipment in there. Then comes over, we built this sink. It basically, when we moved in, it was just like a cove and it had nothing on it. And so there was a bathroom on the other side, and we realized if we just open up that wall right there, we can install some plumbing. And so our friend did, and this sink is from someone's shed. They had pulled it out of a house. It's got that old laminate top, and it is the perfect garage sink. So it basically is just sitting on a 2x4. All these shelves are sitting on 2x4s. They're pocket holed into the studs in the wall, but it is great. So here's my calendar when I have projects going. I need to like keep myself on a schedule. I've got all my spray paints right there. That's my top of the line, like all my metallic sprays. So what I use for all the pulls, this is my line. I have a lot of primers and different things. I love this metallic gold leaf. This is the polyacrylic that I use to seal that acrylic pour table, and so I love these. This helps you extend your paint time. Oh, it's awesome. I use that in the acrylic pour too. I've got a ton of cleaners up there, a lot of products that I do not want the kids getting into at all. So denatured alcohol, I've got strippers up there, I've got my greenies, this is the best stripper ever. Up here, I've got filters. So this is just where I keep everything so I can see it. I love it because it's a very shallow shelf, and so not a lot of stuff can get lost behind it. So this is where I keep my DeVille BLOOPERS finish line system. And so I did buy an awesome spray gun. It goes with an air compressor, and it is right here. And this spray gun is incredible. It comes with 3 different tips. They're all really hard metal, and it hooks up to an air compressor. You really have to have a really high gallon, high PSI air compressor to work with it. And so that's what I've just been dealing with. My air compressor is not fantastic. It's from Harbor Freight. Here's where I keep most of my zebra paint brushes and the other ones I use. I have a carousel of just cleaning supplies, vacuum heads, my Cricut tools that I use to clean my guns, scissors, little tiny paint brushes. I've got brush cleaners in here, pens, pencils. So I know that if I need any little product like that, it's right there. This is where I clean everything. It dries over here, so I usually have a towel at the bottom, and I wash it all here. It's so good. I got this little thing from IKEA, and I love it. It's got these little hooks on it, and I can hang stuff to dry. Or and you know, when you're drying paint brushes, you got to kick them out, really clean them, but you always let them dry like this. So that's where they sit. This is where I keep my respirator, my headphones. I've got other headphones somewhere that I think the kids stole them from me. We keep our trash and our recycling right there. Underneath this, I've got my little pancake air compressor, my fan when I need it going. I've got all my working gloves right there, my shop towels. So you can utilize your space. I've got my heater for when it's cold in the winter, baking soda, the cat stuff, my boots. And so you can utilize even small spaces. If you organize them, you know where everything is. There's my cute little signs that I made 7 years ago, the broken masterpiece. You can utilize your space really well. I forgot to show you these. These we saw on Pinterest like years ago. Okay. Hold on. Clearly haven't untwisted them in a while, but when I need like my, these are screws, and I cannot keep all these organized. So when I need something for like a chair base or anything like that, I keep them in here. I put them up. You just twist them and you're good to go. So I've got all different kinds. I've got picture hangers. I've got just flat screws. I've got all sorts of stuff. So it's a cute little way to store stuff off your shelves. I'm going to show you the lighting that we've installed out here. This is all from Costco or Amazon. These LED lights, the shop lights, are fantastic because they light up all the areas. I used to have just that one and this one, and then we had like one bulb right there. My dad got me these from Amazon, and I was so impressed. It's so bright. It really helps with the lighting out here, especially at night. And we had one over here that we didn't realize. And so the camera can't even like catch how bright it is, but it helps light up the space, especially in the back of the workshop where I don't have a lot of light. All right, I am gonna show you more of the spray booth. So I always keep our water heater behind a completely sealed space, because when I am spraying fine paints of Europe or anything else that is combustible, you want to keep it away from things like this. So you don't want to spray it around anything that could catch fire. And so we keep a full-on shield. I have a whole shorts video or a reel on how I constructed this, but I'm going to show you guys. I just used this electrical piping and these little cute hooks, and we put them up into the studs on the ceiling, and it really holds well, and they slide. Like, I can fully open this and I can fully close it. For the off season, I've put these up on the ceiling, but they fully hang down, and I am going to show you in a little bit of a vertical video how these look. But basically they can pull from all the way over here to all the way over there behind something. This is my new hydraulic cart. So this is going to be the thing that saves my back. You guys, this thing is awesome. You can pump it up and it raises the whole thing. It's a 1,000-pound hydraulic lift from Harbor Freight. I'll link it in the description. But this is what's gonna save my back. I can wheel this right up to my car. I can pull pieces out on it, and it can hold an entire buffet when I'm working on it, from like start to finish. So it is a must-have if you are a little bit smaller framed and not very strong like me. Out of the way. We have built every single one of these. And so these are from Harbor Freight. They're super cheap, but you can also put them on a piece of plywood. And so you create like a double cart. And so for all the pieces that I need, like buffets and dressers that are huge, I've got some massive carts that have great wheels. You can buy these wheels, and you could lock them. I can put them out on my driveway. I can then wheel them back into the shop to get painted, and then I can wheel them over to be staged. And so highly suggest getting those. Typically when I am working, they are usually all over the garage on wheels so that I can move them around when I need to work on them. This is where I stage my furniture, so I'll put a link to that video. But I clamp it to the garage door, let the vinyl hang down, and then I have this faux flooring. It's wall paneling. It's hiding behind all that stuff. And it is where I photograph a lot of my pieces if I'm not using the AI app. So, and this driveway is where I do work on a lot of my stuff. So I pull things out here when I'm stripping, when I'm sanding, when I am not using my surf prep, because the surf prep actually, there's the man of the hour. Say hello.
Hello.
He's my huge helper out here when I'm trying to lift or work. I'll give you one more caveat to working from home. You can get your kids involved in your business, and it gives you a tax write-off also. So in the state of North Carolina and in a lot of other states, you can have your own children. It can't be somebody else's children. Your own children work for you at whatever age. There's no age limit in North Carolina. And they can work for you as long as you can prove it, document it, have it, a time card, whatever you need to say that they are an employee of yours. And you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you pay them. They don't have to pay taxes on the money they receive from your business. And when I have my son out here sanding or my daughter painting or anything that they're doing, putting on knobs, I can pay them however much I deem appropriate, and they get that money tax-free, and then that's tax-free for me too. And I can take like $6,000 of that a year for them. I can pay them up to $12,000 a year. I think it even went up this year. I can take $6,000 of that and put it in a Roth IRA for them, starting, my son's like 10, and he's going to be a millionaire by the time he's like 40. So another caveat of working with your children at home, involve them in what you do. So the reason I built this garage workspace and spray booth is because a lot of furniture painters use tents. Tents took up a lot of time for me to set up and then spray and then take down, and they just took up so much space too. And so this allows me to have a spray booth that like in 2 seconds I can have this thing set up. Typically I have the floor piece already in. We usually don't park the car in here. And the ring around the top that you can see on the video that's right next to me, it is built so that as the mist and all the overspray, especially with Fine Paints of Europe, when you're spraying from like a DeVille Bliss, it's a very fine mist. It atomizes that paint incredibly well. Well, some of it floats. And so depending on how much airflow you have in the room, I usually have my fan running with a filter over it. You need to watch what's going on above you and how much of that is floating out. And so if I want to keep all my family's stuff safe from all the overspray, then I needed a liner at the top so that it would keep it inside, because right where the hooks are, and there needed to be a space where I put the piping, it can get out of that, and then everything ends up super dusty and very dirty. So I put that little liner. I also put one over by the garage because when I needed to fully encase it, encase this space completely, I wanted it fully sealed with the plastic so that I didn't have any dust that was on the garage door floating into my Fine Paints of Europe paint or lacquer, because lacquer doesn't dry as long, but Fine Paints of Europe takes 24 hours to dry. You need a fully sealed, no dust floating space that's been completely cleaned out, water all over the floor, which this flooring now is perfect for that. I do have the plastic over it, but it just, having a concrete floor when you're trying to be a furniture painter, no guys, like you've got to do this to your floor, or you've got to lay a ton of plastic down, because the concrete dust is something that's always going to come up. You cannot blow your garage out enough so that it's gone. The reason I covered the walls is the same thing. Drywall also gives off a lot of dust, and so that is also why the walls are done. All right, I'm going to tell you a few of the tax benefits of working from home, because a lot of people want to go out and get the workspace. It's like, why don't you rent this workspace? Why don't you do like make your operation bigger. I don't want to. I'm so satisfied with working from home because if I had a bigger operation, I'd have so much more overhead. And overhead is everything that is like your rent that you would pay for a workshop, the electricity, all those utility bills. If you work at home, you get to write off part of your electric, because I use a ton of electricity in here, part of your utilities bill, because I have a garage sink, part of that square footage in the dining room, part of that is a write-off too, because I store a lot of furniture when I'm finished with it, usually in there, because this is typically filled with furniture. And so that's also where I create content. And so that becomes a write-off too. My car is a partial write-off, my cell phone's a partial write-off, my makeup's a partial write-off. So working from home gives you so many tax benefits, and basically what it does is any income I make from furniture, my tax write-offs count against that. And so if I make $10,000 and I have $8,500 in write-off, so I'm only getting taxed on $1,500. And so that's a little caveat for being smart with your money. See a ton of furniture work and you don't see a lot of me. So here's my pretty face. As the words are hard today. Hey guys, today it's summer. Pausing. Words are hard today. Do you know? No, I'm not gonna start like that. North Carolina, I just said North Carolina, California. I'm not in California anymore. I'm gonna pause this. I'm sweating so much right now. Freaking North Carolina. This is not. I did my makeup for this. It's just not worth it. Fix my shirt. Surf Prep. I'm wearing your shirt. Please sponsor me. So, gosh, I'm sweating out here. Oh my gosh. Tried to do my hair this morning. Guess what? It's summer in Charlotte. Don't even attempt. It's not even worth it. You'll be sweating in like 2 seconds you go outside. It's a film. Aren't you guys so glad you stayed on for that? Thanks for joining today, and make sure you smash that subscribe button.